They said Ukraine had no chance at sea. Russia's Black Sea Fleet, one of the most powerful naval forces in the world, was supposed to dominate these waters. But something extraordinary happened. A country with virtually no navy just defeated one of the world's great naval powers. Today, we're breaking down Ukraine's most underreported victory of this war, how they revolutionized naval warfare and pushed an entire fleet hundreds of miles back, using technology most people had never even heard of 3 years ago. This is the War Update. Before we dive in, quick reminder, hit that subscribe button. This channel exists because of your support, and we're bringing you analysis you won't find anywhere else. So let's set the scene. February 2022. When Russia launched its full-scale invasion, Ukraine faced an absolutely brutal reality at sea. Russia's Black Sea Fleet had complete dominance: cruisers, frigates, submarines, landing ships. Meanwhile, Ukraine, they had one frigate and a handful of smaller vessels. Within the first days of the war, Ukraine made the painful decision to scuttle their own flagship to prevent it from falling into Russian hands. By early March, Ukraine effectively had no conventional navy. But here's where the story gets interesting. Russia's fleet wasn't just a military threat, it was an economic stranglehold. They blockaded Ukrainian ports, trapping millions of tons of grain. Ukraine's economy was being choked, and Russia was using these ships to launch caliber cruise missiles at Ukrainian cities, sometimes from positions Ukraine couldn't even reach. Traditional solutions weren't available. Ukraine couldn't build a conventional navy. That takes years and billions of dollars. They couldn't rely on partner nations to engage Russian ships directly. That would mean NATO at war with Russia. So Ukrainian engineers, military planners, and tech innovators asked a different question. What if we don't need ships to fight ships? April 13th, 2022, the Russian missile cruiser Moskva, flagship of the Black Sea Fleet, a symbol of Russian naval power, was sailing off the coast of Odessa. Ukraine hit it with 2 Neptune anti-ship missiles, a Ukrainian-designed weapon system that most Western analysts didn't even know was operational. The Moskva, a ship that had served since the Soviet era, sank the next day. Russia initially denied it was attacked, claiming a fire broke out. Later, they quietly admitted the ship was lost. This wasn't just a tactical victory, it was a massive psychological blow. And more importantly, it proved something crucial: Ukraine could strike back. But the Neptune missiles were limited. Ukraine needed something else, something that could hunt Russian ships repeatedly, something expendable, something revolutionary. They needed drones. Meet the Sea Baby, Ukraine's maritime drone that changed everything. These aren't your hobbyist drones. These are jet ski-sized unmanned surface vehicles packed with explosives, controlled remotely, capable of traveling hundreds of kilometers across open water in rough seas at night. Think about that asymmetry. For the cost of one cruise missile, Ukraine can deploy an autonomous hunter that can travel for hours, evade detection, and deliver an 850-kilogram punch directly to a ship's waterline. Let me walk you through the kill list. In October 2022, patrol ship Admiral Magura was targeted by maritime drones, sustaining damage. In May 2023, the intelligence ship Ivan Kurz was hit and damaged by Sea Baby drones. In August the same year, landing ship Elenigorsky Gornyak was severely damaged. In September, submarine Rostov-na-Donu was destroyed while in dry dock in Sevastopol, and landing ship Minsk was damaged by missiles in Sevastopol. Let's move on to 2024. In February, landing ship Cesar Kunikov was sunk by multiple sea drones, and the corvette Ivanovets was sunk by a swarm of Magura drones. In March, patrol ship Sergei Kotov was destroyed near the Kerch Strait. Ukraine committed multiple strikes on small missile ships Askald, Veliki Ustyug, and Samum. And throughout the year, landing ships Novocherkassk was destroyed, while Saratov had been destroyed by a missile back in March 2022. That's over a third of Russia's Black Sea Fleet combat capability, destroyed or severely damaged. And this is a fleet that's been operating for decades, with crews trained at Russia's naval academies. They're being defeated by operators who 3 years ago were probably not even thinking about naval warfare. But Ukraine didn't stop with Sea Baby. They evolved. The Magura V5, faster, longer range, with sophisticated AI that can navigate autonomously even when communications are jammed. Then came the torpedo carriers, unmanned boats that launch torpedoes at targets, adding an underwater strike capability. And, just recently, we learned about something truly cutting edge: drones equipped with smaller fiber optic controlled drones. Think about this. A drone launches another drone connected by a fiber optic cable. This means completely unjammable communications, real-time video feed, precision targeting. This is technology that even major naval powers are just beginning to experiment with. And Ukraine is deploying it in combat. And it's working. Just weeks ago, in November 2025, 2 Russian oil tankers were struck in the Black Sea by Sea Baby drones. These weren't military vessels, but they were part of Russia's shadow fleet, moving oil to finance the war. Here's the strategic picture that doesn't get enough attention. Russia has been forced to relocate its entire Black Sea fleet from Sevastopol in Crimea, a port they've held since the 18th century, to Novorossiysk, over 200 miles away. This isn't just an inconvenience. This is a complete strategic retreat. Without a secure base in Crimea, Russia's ability to project power in the Black Sea is fundamentally compromised. Their missile ships have to travel farther to launch positions. Their logistics are stretched. Their crews know that even in port, they're not safe. Ukraine, meanwhile, has reopened maritime corridors for grain exports without Russia's permission. Ships are moving. Ukraine's economy has breathing room. This was considered impossible a year ago. And Ukraine keeps innovating. Just recently, maritime drones struck the Caspian Pipeline Consortium's marine terminal, critical infrastructure for Russian oil exports in the Black Sea. This terminal handles millions of barrels of oil. It's 100 kilometers from Ukrainian-controlled territory, and it's now out of commission, potentially for months. Every strike like this doesn't just hurt Russia militarily, it hits their war economy. Oil revenue funds this invasion. Without it, Russia's ability to sustain the war degrades. And here's something really significant. The world is paying attention. Poland, Norway, Greece. These countries aren't just buying Ukrainian technology. They're investing in joint production. They see what Ukraine has achieved, and they want it for their own naval defense. Ukraine has become a world leader in unmanned maritime warfare, a field that literally didn't exist in any meaningful way 3 years ago. They didn't just adapt to having no navy. They created an entirely new way of fighting at sea. In fact, by late 2025, Ukrainian drones have even started targeting Russian naval aviation, blowing up fighters and bombers associated with the Black Sea Fleet, further eroding their air support over the waves. Because Ukraine's naval victories prove something essential. Innovation, determination, and courage can overcome what looks like impossible odds. A country with no navy defeated one of the world's great naval powers. They did it by thinking differently, by refusing to accept that they had no options, by building something new. But they didn't do it alone. Ukrainian innovation is being amplified by Western technology, intelligence support, and training. The Neptune missiles, the electronic components in the drones, the satellite intelligence that helps target ships. This is what partnership looks like. And this is exactly why continued support for Ukraine matters. Not just because it's the right thing to do, though it absolutely is, but because Ukraine is proving that defending against aggression is possible. They're developing technologies and tactics that are literally reshaping modern warfare. They're showing that a smaller nation can defend itself against a massive neighbor if they have the tools and support to do so. Every maritime drone Ukraine builds, every Russian ship they push back, every kilometer of sea they secure, it makes their defense stronger, and it makes future aggression less likely. Ukraine is winning at sea. That victory is changing the world's understanding of what's possible. And that's a story worth watching. Thanks for joining me on the War Update. Hit subscribe, share this with someone who needs to see it, and we'll see you in the next one.